Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Leah, and today we're going to be talking to you about British housing.
Before we start, don't forget to click subscribe. We post videos every week.
And don't forget to press the bell notification button. So, British housing might sound like a little bit of an obvious thing. To us it does.
Yeah.
But we realise that other people might not actually know what kind of homes are available to people in the UK.
And I think the reason it occurred to us is because when you go abroad on holiday, everyone has like different houses in the countries that they live in. Like, I've never seen a terraced house in Spain. Like, I've just never seen one.
I don't think I've seen a terraced house in a Mediterranean country.
No, and I certainly haven't when I went to Florida. It was literally just detached houses and apartment blocks. But let's start with
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, a house that you probably are most familiar with is a detached house, which is basically just a house on its own.
Yeah, it's building in its own right.
It looks a little bit like this. Detached house. Detached houses feel to me like quite rare in London. I don't really see many detached houses unless I go out into a suburb of London.
Yeah, which is the opposite of where, well, I'm assuming where we both grew up. It certainly was where I was from. It mainly is detached houses.
Mainly in my area it's detached or semi.
Okay. The next one is semi-detached, and semi-detached is when two houses are attached together. So it's basically one building, but with a wall right down the middle, so it's two houses in one.
In the same area as a detached house, as in the same area of the country, a semi-detached house might be a little bit cheaper to buy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's smaller. In fact, I've been into some semi-detached houses that are massive on the inside.
Definitely. And in London, that certainly wouldn't really affect the price. It would affect it a little bit, but you can still get like multi-million-pound houses that are semi-detached.
Moving on, terraced houses.
Terraced houses are multiple houses in a row, like semi-detached, but like about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus houses.
I live in an end terrace house, which means that to buy, it's slightly more expensive to live in the end terrace because technically it's semi-detached.
Yeah. In terms of neighbours, you don't have anyone on one side of you, so that's a plus because you won't get noise from next door. Growing up, I always thought of terraced houses as being more sort of working class communities, that it would be, I think lots of them are Victorian, very old houses, and I think, I might not be right here, but I think when they were built for workers. They were built for people who work in coal mines or people who work in a factory, and the factory builders would build all these terraced houses so that all of their workers could live in the same place. But in London, terraced houses again can go for millions of pounds. You can get really lovely, really big terraced houses, or you can get really small ones but still really lovely.
And sometimes in London, because it's so expensive to live, terrace houses are broken off into flats.
Yeah.
So you could have, like for instance, I live in a end terrace house, but I live in a maisonette because I am in the top 2 floors of a house and the bottom floor is a complete different flat.
Yeah.
So
that's called a maisonette.
A maisonette.
Clap and blow maisonette down. That's a
oh my god,
flashback.
that's a throwback.
Throwback.
Flashback and a throwback.
So a maisonette is, the definition is if it has stairs within the property.
So yeah, if a property is over 2 floors, it's a maisonette. And if it's a flat, it's just over 1 floor. So many different ways of living.
So many different ways of living. We're so lucky. An apartment, if someone says they live in an apartment and they say that and they live in the UK, we would assume that it would be a very nice, high-end, lovely, spacious, modern place to live.
Yes.
Whereas if you say a flat, it can mean that, it absolutely can, but your instant thought would be like maybe it's in like a tower block, maybe it's not as modern as an apartment. And quite often big blocks of flats are part of a council estate.
A council flat is a flat which is owned by the government and is rented to you by the council. So rather
often for a reduced price.
Yes. So rather than your rent money going to a private landlord, you're paying the state money, like Joel said, at a slightly reduced price.
Yeah. And some of them are even rented free of charge. They're houses that are given away as benefits to people that can't afford rent. So people that might be unemployed or can't work for some reason, the council have these, or the government have these places where they can be like, okay, well, I'm going to give you this flat for free.
Yeah.
Or it might be, we've reduced the rent because you can afford £200 a month, so we'll pay the rest, but you pay £200 a month.
Exactly. Not many houses, especially in London, have a garden. It's actually quite nice if someone goes, come over to my house, we've got a garden.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be unusual to hear, because you're like, oh wow, you have a garden.
Yeah.
Because so many of us live in flats.
Yeah.
Or in high-rise buildings, so...
And you might have a balcony, but you don't have
garden.
a garden.
So guys, we've just sort of spoken a little bit about the types of homes we have in the UK and what's available to live in.
Yeah. We hope that was helpful, because I think it isn't, like we've said, it's a really obvious topic for us because we are used to it. But I think for lots of you guys not from the UK, I hope you'll find it interesting. I don't feel like you've got the same types of property, not exactly the same in your country.
So yeah, let us know in the comments any thoughts you have about English homes.
Are you okay?
I'm dying.
You're dying. Don't forget to click
I need a
subscribe.
drink. I can't.
We post videos every week. I'm going to get her a bit of a drink.
I just choked on
Okay.
something.
Saliva.
I don't know.
It's okay, you still look pretty.
Thanks. I
Bye.
just can't.